Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to do a watercolour with a still life subject. Now first of all you must very faintly draw this up, and I say faintly so that you can only just see the objects when you look very closely at it. Don't try to work heavily, because this will only make your composition less fruitful. So remember, go extremely faintly. Now, when we've got your work like this, you can see here now that I've made a colour swatch of the colours that I was going to use. I've looked at the colours and tried to mix them just approximately. Don't try to replicate the colour too much at this stage, but just so that you know the quantities and the tonings that you'll use. Now then, for the background area I'm going to start on, you see me there just wet the surface with water only, and then I've mixed a very faint or light wash of colour with the water. Don't try to get this colour very dark at this stage, because watercolour is transparent, and you can always make watercolour dark, but you can't make it lighter. So always think that when you are applying that colour, that you work very lightly, especially in the first stages. You will also see that where I've wet the paper will let that colour splay out in a very haphazard kind of way. Where the paper is dry, the watercolour won't penetrate, but it's only going to work where the water lies on that paper. Now you can see here that I'm just going around the basic shapes first, the basic lines, and I'm leaving the light areas, the highlighted areas, they remain left without any colour on at all. Just remembering, you can always make things darker, you can't make things lighter. So here I'm going to add a little bit of green in my yellow tonings, and again I've just dampened that paper where I want this colour to be, and I'm just applying those colours very lightly, diluted them with quite a bit of water. Now you can see that where I've got the yellow and where I've got the green, the yellow runs into the green and the green runs into the yellow. This gives a beautiful modulation, so try to be experimental with that. Now I'm going to start adding some of the red tonings and the orange tonings, and the same sort of thing happens. I'm going to apply a little bit of water so that I'm dampening that area, and then I am just going very faintly, very lightly with a diluted colour. I'm now going to add a little bit more of the reddy tonings, and those redder tonings are starting to now filter into where I've got those orange tonings. So all of this, you've got to think that a lot of the watercolour practice is letting the watercolour itself do the work. You don't try to do the work of the paint as you would if you were using acrylic or oil paint. We work in a slightly different way. We add our lighter tones over our darker tones because the paint is thicker and it is opaque. Here the watercolour is transparent, and also we let it flow. We use this in this wash technique, and we let that the colours flow into each other where we've got the dampened our paper. Where repeating myself, but where we've left the paper dry, the water doesn't run, and therefore the wash doesn't blend into the other colours. So then I can keep on working, and there I've got this, the tones are still fairly faint. I've not got a great variation in colour or tone. They're all still fairly light tones, and the tones are fairly muted. So now I'm just going to add some of the stronger colours. Here in this case I'm adding a stronger green and making that mixture of paint to the watercolour just a little stronger. You'll see there it makes the appearance a little bit darker, and that I'm working in reverse, going from dark through to light, rather than if I was adding tone by adding white. I never use white in the watercolour. The only white that is used is the white of the background paper. So there I'm going, in this area, I'm going to add some more red tones to the orange, and I'm letting that colour again merge into the colour that's on the underneath, or the ground of the colour. You'll see that the water is still very active, and the colours mix themselves. So it's not like I'm doing the mixing so much. I am letting the water do the mixing, and I'm letting the paint react with each other. So that gives a beautiful kind of accidental quality to the work. You can see here that I've been working on the background, getting some of those more indistinct areas, just making one or two of those areas more distinct, so it's giving definition to the form of the rather muted colours of the subject. Now, this I try to get away from using an outline, but using the contrast of the background and the foreground to define the form. Okay, so here we have more or less the finished product. You can see that